Hi, I'm Peter O'Reilly. I'm going to show you how to do a compression test on the Zwick, how to write a method for compression testing using a 5 Newton load cell. So first go to user shortcut, open a folder which has been created for you. I'm going to open somebody else's folder, Malika, and this is the sort of file you're looking for, a text expert test instruction, not a series file, text expert test instruction. So open this one, it'll take a couple of seconds to open, and you should hear a clicking noise at the back of the machine when it's opening, which means the software is communicating with the hardware in the machine. Just a little bit slow to open. So we close that. So now, if this value of crosshead travel corresponds with the value on the scale on the actual machine where the knife edge is, you switch on, and it does. So we switch on. So 3 layouts: series, specimen, wizard. We want to be in wizard. Test definition, compression test. Start position, we need this box ticked, accept the current crosshead as the start position. We need this box ticked. Gauge length correction, the gauge will be corrected after the preload. We're going to apply a preload, and that's how we know when we're actually touching the sample, and the gauge length is corrected after that. So these 2 boxes ticked. Preload, we want a preload of 0.01 newtons. This box is ticked. That's very, very low, but we're using a 5 Newton load cell, the lowest load cell on the machine. We're going to go to the preload at a speed of 3 millimeters a minute. We're going to wait at the preload, wait for hold time. We're going to use position control to wait at the preload. Never use force control, always position control. Hold time at the preload 10 seconds. And this is an over run out, a time run out, 60 seconds. If it's taking too long, it'll time out. Basically, we're too far away from the sample. So there are the values: preload 0.01 newtons, speed to preload 3 millimeters a minute. Wait for hold time, using position control, never force control, 10 seconds. Okay, we need 0 the force after the preload. Specimen data, various different types of specimen you can have. You can have round, flat. So R1 is a pipe, R1 is a slab. Okay, and the dimensions of this sample, generally speaking, are 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. Test. She's using strain control, 0.05% per second. She could have used position controlled. Okay, never use force control. So it's either position controlled or strain controlled, never force controlled. So strain control, 0.05% per second. End of test. How do we decide the test is over? We decide the test is over when we go to 30% compression. That's what Malika wants. Also, we can have an extra safety limit of 4 newtons in case it exceeds that before we get to the 30%. But we'll already have that saved in machine. I'll show you how to do that. Maximum test duration, 10 minutes. So either of these things should stop the test, but we ideally want to go to 30% compression. Results, this is for a PDF result file, which you won't be getting or need. Actions after test, we don't need any actions after the test. We'll bring the crosshead back manually. Measurement value storage, this is the data acquisition rate. So it will take data every 10 microns, or every 0.1 seconds, or every 1 newton, whichever is the sooner. So the sooner will probably be the 10 microns. Okay, and it'll take displacement, force, and time. So that will give you more than adequate data acquisition. It'll take displacement, force, and time. Control parameters, we don't need that. Media layout, don't need that. That's the report that you won't be getting, you don't need. So into series layout. So what we want is it to ask us each time what the specimen dimensions are, because they may vary. How you do that is right click here, configure dialog. What you want is specimen width and thickness, but you don't need all these. So we get rid of those. And get rid of those. Okay. We wanted to request at the before the test, mandatory input, force input, these 2. Okay, everything just like that. It will now ask us these before the test. We 0 the force up here. We check the limits in here. Machine, go into machine. And there's the upper force limit for this load cell of 4 and -4. So check that they're in like that. Also, if you hit expanded, you'll see that this 5 Newton load cell is linked. Sometimes when you're setting up a new method, it might not be linked, and you have to link it. So that's a force 5 Newton linked. There's the crosshead. This is where you reference the platens. I'll show you that a separate time. You're going to reference here. That's a separate video. Okay, so press OK and all that. Now, You want to save the program, file, save as. So choose test program, choose a name, and make sure it's going into the right place. You can choose a directory up here. Okay, we press OK on that. Oh, sorry, I'm going to cancel that. I don't want to save. So now we also want to save the series. So you choose series, you give it a name with today's date, make sure it's going in the right place. And what that will do is it'll save the series of tests in advance, and it'll update the series for every new test that you do, so you can replay the series with all the graphs at a later date. The last thing you want to do is set up the raw data file. So file, export interfaces, choose this one, choose edit. You don't want these boxes ticked. You need to put the path and file name in. You can select this one here and select the directory you want it to go to. Give it a name, then click this box. It'll automatically number the tests as they're done. It'll optimize them and set the file extension to XLS. So that box, that box, that box. Get the directory, put in the name, don't tick these three. Parameter, it's good to have these parameters saved on your individual raw data files. So width, thickness, gauge length, test speed, they'll all be saved. Okay. Channels, the first channel in your raw data file will be standard travel on the left hand side. The next one to the right of that will be newtons. In this case, Malika is using crush percent, which is really compression, strain, percentage, stress megapascals, test time seconds. Moment in time of export at end of test. Okay, so that's everything set up for the raw data. Okay, so now you're basically ready to test, and you just press start. So I'm going to close on that. Save changes no in this case, close on that, and